Hello and welcome to the Rabyd Atheist. I'm Rabyd, a former pastor turned atheist, now compassionate anti-theist. Welcome to my channel. Feel free to like or dislike the video as you see fit, so feel free to hit those buttons. Feel free to comment below, and I would appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel and hit your notification bell for more content as it is released. You're also free to share my videos as much as you like, because the purpose of this channel is educational in regards to atheist and deconversion issues and any issues related to those issues. A hearty shout out to the Rabyd Nation. Join the nation by hitting that subscribe button. And if you want to become a citizen of the Rabyd Nation and support the channel in a more tangible way, hit that join button and your options will be presented to you. Today I want to spend some time discussing something that the Prophet of Zod brought up in his video a couple weeks ago, how Christians use nitpicking to cope with atheism. I'll leave a link in the description. But the thing that struck me about that video is the kind of central core of why most human beings don't believe in most imaginary things or most things in general. We have three really good reasons, I think, that most of us just don't believe in anything, that we can't get past these three things. And he does this with vampires, and so I'll put the still up here for a few seconds just so you can see it, where I pulled this off of his video, because I want to give my nod and tip the hat to Prophet of Zod for making these three observations that most of us follow when we don't believe in things. Okay, number one, we have never seen anything like it. Okay, I've never seen anything like a vampire or a leprechaun or a pink unicorn with rainbows coming out of its butt. So I've never seen anything like that. Also, in my lifetime, I've never seen anything like that. It runs contrary to everything I've seen in my lifetime of observation. It's not just that I haven't seen this, I just have seen a whole bunch of other things that would contradict it as well. And finally, it has a history of being imaginary. Vampires are creatures of human imagination. They're in fiction books, but they don't seem to be in scientific textbooks where we're actually observing, actual life and things like that. So when most of us consider any deity and any imaginary creature, we kind of dismiss them because they haven't got past this initial gatekeeping wall that all of us human beings seem to have. We've never seen anything like it in our lifetime of observation, and it has a history of being a product of imagination. The last one is kind of key in our digital age, because if somebody claims that something exists, I can always get on the internet and look it up. So if somebody claims a certain building exists in a certain city, well, I've never seen it in my lifetime of observation, but I can dismiss the idea, well, that's not a product of human imagination. Oh, yep, there's a picture of it. There's a whole bunch of people, talking about the inside of it. You have other people making a whole bunch of observations, and there doesn't seem to be any reason why people would be deceptive or anything like that. So I can accept when, that buildings exist somewhere, okay, in the world, because there it is. It's why I accept the existence of the Eiffel Tower and, the Great Wall of China and all these other things. I've never actually been to those places, but I can look them up, and they don't seem to be the products of human imagination, so I can accept that they exist, okay? And that's kind of the way we operate most of the time about the vast majority of things. Most of us dismiss belief or don't believe in certain things because of this threefold criteria. We've never seen it. We haven't seen it during our entire lifetime of observation. It seems to be, contrary to what we would know. And, it doesn't have it has a history of being an imaginary thing. People made it up. And so we kind of dismiss a lot of things. Most of us have dismissed a lot of the existence of a lot of things because of this criteria. Now, of late, theist apologists have been doing this rather annoying thing where they have been attacking the agnostic atheist as a concept, and they've also been saying, hey, it's intellectually dishonest for me to make this negative claim that there is no God, even though I don't make that claim. And, they kind of try to push that direction and say, well, you got to prove that God does not exist. Okay, if you're going to be intellectually honest. The idea of an agnostic atheist, I just don't believe, because I've dismissed this thing based on that threefold criteria. It doesn't seem to be something that they want to do. The the thing is, then I have a question. Are you ready to be intellectually honest as an apologist to disprove the existence of all other deities that you don't believe in? Okay, I imagine that many of you are Odin atheists, that you don't believe in this guy over my shoulder. I don't believe in Odin. Okay, why? Well, because I've never seen Odin. He's never appeared in my entire history of observation. And you know what? He seems to be the product of human mythology and imagination. Oh, okay. And so at that point, as an atheist, I can accept that because that's the same reason I do it back to your God, in a particular flavor. But so if I'm not being intellectually honest, but not disproving the existence of your particular deity, then are you being intellectually dishonest by not disproving all the rest of the deities? It really comes down to the fact that, you probably consider most of the other gods the product of human mythology and human imagination, but somehow you want a little bit of special pleading for your own, that your favorite toy somehow gets an exception to this. And so it brings up the motivation of why apologists are attacking atheists in this way, and I really think it's an emotional thing. What's really happening is a special pleading because of emotional need. They don't want themselves to feel like they're silly, so they try to attack atheism and call it silly, even though they in themselves are probably practicing atheists based on some pantheon that they don't believe in for the same reasons I don't believe in theirs. It's funny how you want to engage in this attack and give this criteria to the atheist that he has to disprove the existence of God. Well, are you ready to disprove the existence of all the other deities that you don't believe in yourself? Okay, the real issue is even if you could force an atheist into a position where they would have to prove the non-existence of something or a particular deity, it still doesn't prove that your claim is true. You have to create a standard for yourself to prove the non-existence of things that you don't believe in as well, to be intellectually honest yourself. I agree with the Prophet of Zod on this one. It boils down to a coping mechanism for theists because they don't like it that people don't believe in their particular brand of imaginary friend. They attack me, the atheist, in order to be emotionally satisfied that somehow they're not weird or doing something strange because, well, what really is atheism is the one that's irrational. And so therefore I'm more rational in believing my whatever it is you is. If you're a Hindu, you believe in your Hinduism. If you're an Islamic person, you believe in Islam. You're believing in that God, and you don't want to feel like there's something wrong with your thought process on that. So you attack the atheist in his non-belief. But if you're going to do that, then I have to ask you the question, are you ready to also be intellectually honest, and every deity, imaginary creature, and so on that you don't believe in, are you ready to prove their non-existence? Are you ready to do it? Okay, and prove that those things do not exist. Okay, if you're going to sit there and attack me because I don't believe in any of them, all of a sudden if I believed in one deity, if I erected a statue to Aphrodite behind me and said, yeah, she's the only deity I think actually exists and I'm going to worship her, all of a sudden I would be rational? Come on. Okay, let's be honest here. The fact is, apologists are in such a sorry state, and I've said this over and over and over again, that now they have to attack the atheist because they have to have an emotional coping mechanism to justify their belief in something, even though their belief in something fails on the same criteria of all the other things that they themselves have dismissed. If you want to prove your God now, I guess, apologist sites are going to have to start doing a couple of things. They're going to have to, prove that, other gods don't exist. So right along with all the proof for Jesus and Christ and the historicity of the Gospels, most of it which is nonsense, they're going to have to put, these disprove all the other deities that we don't believe in. We have to prove our atheism about these deities as well. See, because the fact is, you're an atheist too. I just take it all the way. Okay, that's the difference between you and me. You've already dismissed a lot of these other deities because you've never seen anything like them. It goes contrary to the history of your own personal observation. And you've also gatekeeped with the idea that they seem to be the products of imagination. What you don't want to accept is that when I look at your particular brand of whatever it is you believe in, that those same things are true of what you believe in too. One of the great challenges in my life and my faith, and what ultimately sent me down the road to atheism, was doing a comparative religion study. And I did this as a part of a class in my church. And I began to realize that the criteria that I was using to dismiss a lot of these other religions, I could use for mine. And that's intellectual honesty. Okay, it's intellectual honesty where you take the same criteria against all the other things you don't believe in and apply it to your own belief. And if it still holds up, then maybe you got something. But as you probably discover, as I discovered, it doesn't hold up. The same criticism that you level, the reasons you don't believe in all these other gods, deities, and pantheons, is also good reasons not to believe in your own. And you don't want to face that. And so the emotional coping mechanism is to attack the idea of non-belief altogether, to attack it so it's more emotionally satisfying to you that, well, I don't believe that that's intellectually honest either, so I'm okay in being intellectually dishonest by not believing in all these other pantheons too, but it's okay because the atheist is intellectually dishonest by not proving all of them are false. Well, I'm going to be having some higher expectations out of you apologists then. I'm going to expect you all to dismiss all the deities and give proof positive for all the deities that you yourself don't believe in either, and that you're going to have to dismiss them. Because otherwise you're being intellectually dishonest and saying that I have to prove that all deities don't exist, but you don't have to prove the deities that you don't believe in don't exist. Huh? How does that work? Or maybe we could accept this, that if something is something I've never seen, I haven't seen anything like it, in my entire lifetime of a history of observation, I've never seen anything like it. And when I look at the history of things and I look at data and information, well, it kind of seems that that thing is a product of human imagination. So if I'm justified in not believing in those things because of those reasons, and you are too, then I'm also justified in not believing your particular brand of whatever it is you're selling until you give me the proof that gets me past those three things. Give me an observable thing that gets me past, I've never seen anything like it. Show me observations by other people over their lifetimes where, yes, this thing does indeed exist to them. And maybe just show me that this thing isn't the product of human imagination. Give me some sort of evidence that's scientific, that's historical, that something I can take to court that proves the existence of your particular, get me past these three reasons that most of us dismiss all this stuff in the first place. Okay? With this line of reasoning, man, I'm going to expect you either have to acknowledge that agnostic atheists exist, and we're justified in not believing without having to prove our non-belief, or you're going to have to, in addition to all your proofs for your faith on one side, you're now going to have to add all the disproofs of all the things you don't believe on the other side. Because if you're going to be intellectually honest there, theists, if you're going to make me prove there is no God, then you have to prove there is no Odin, there is no Zeus, there is no Vishnu, there is no Islamic God named Allah. There, on and on the list goes of things you don't believe in for the same reasons I don't believe in yours. And you're going to have to provide a list of proofs as well. Is that something you really want to do? Is that the can of worms you really want to open here? Because that's where you're going. And I'm sorry, the burden of proof is still on you. Meet the burden of proof. Because even if you prove that I had to do this, you still haven't proven that your particular flavor of God exists. Prove it. Come on, prove it. And quit this lazy emotional coping mechanism attacking the atheist. Because that's what it is. Well, I want to thank everybody for stopping by. I appreciate every like, share, and subscribe. I hope this video has been helpful to you to help you think about things and hopefully a little bit entertaining as well. I want to thank the Prophet of Zod for his video. I'll leave that in the description. It was very thought-provoking. Thank you, sir. I just want to tip my hat and give you a nod. And, as always, live your best life. You only get one go-around and then it's over. So make sure you're spending all your time, money, and opportunities on the family and friends you love and care for and making this a better world. And don't waste it on the trappings of religion and faith because that's a dead end. I speak from experience. And as always, thanks for stopping by, and I'll catch you next time.